a pile of garbage.
Yeah. What's it even doing here?
I don't know.
Feels like it doesn't belong.
Should I get rid of it?
Yeah.
Alright. It's gross.
What do you think of the car?
Oh, it's freaking amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So sick.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James!
And this is the 992 GT3.
The GT3. Unbridled by the chains of forced induction, it is the latest and purest 911.
Improving on an already legendary nameplate is no easy feat. But Porsche are the masters of fixing things even though they ain't broke. So with this new 992 generation, we have little reason to doubt that they've achieved that all over again.
Oh yes! Oh yes! That's a naturally aspirated flat six. 502 horsepower, 346 pound-feet of torque, which for $222,000 isn't much. The 911 Turbo S has 590 pound-feet of torque. So why on earth are you going to spend the same amount of money as a Turbo S on a car that has an older engine, an older transmission, this is the 7-speed, not the 8-speed, and less torque? I'll tell you why. Because 9,000 RPM! Oh. When Thomas and I drove the Turbo S against the R8 V10, the V10 charmed the socks off of us because it was naturally aspirated, and it felt like that was the one thing missing from the Turbo S. The GT3 has all the makings of the perfect 911. No, it doesn't have Turbo S acceleration. I think it's good for 3.4 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour. But that's bloody fast. And also, because it's got the engine in the back, it has incredible rear grip. So it takes off like an all-wheel drive car. I don't know if you remember, we did a Carrera S drag race with the Corvette, and it took off like a madman. And that was just rear-wheel drive. This is the same. Not only do you get such a natural building of power with this engine, peak horsepower is available at 8,400 RPM, that's almost the end. It comes with, as a package, this sound. Oh, and this is actually a Euro spec, so it's got the particulate filter on the exhaust, so this is not even as loud as the one we'll get in North America. Thankfully, from in here, it's all induction noise, which apparently they've upped to make up for it. Yes, the tech in new engines is better to daily drive in the city, and probably better for 0 to 60 times, all things considered. But out here, on the track, no turbochargers. It's incredible. And it's the reason the Honda S2000, despite being much cheaper, is lauded as a hero. It's the reason why when Thomas and I drove the GT350R, we had our jaws hitting the floor. It's the reason why when we drove the Ferrari F12, that was also naturally aspirated. We felt like we were kids in trouble. And sometimes We get a bit metaphorical, we wax lyrical. But the naturally aspirated engine is a wonderful thing. And it sounds pretentious, it does. But it's what nature intended. It's a breath of fresh air. And nature's a funny thing.
Nature is one thing, technology is another. First of all, this is the first road-going generation of 911 that has race car-style suspension up front. That means it has double wishbones. Long story short, what that does is it helps the tire maintain its alignment throughout the compression stroke of the suspension. What that does is it increases the contact patch of the tire as the suspension compresses. So over hills or down under crests, the car stays stable. The grip stays the same. And on turn-in and on a bumpy track like this car is all about grip to a degree that I didn't really think it was. It's way grippier than I thought it was going to be. The G-forces are beyond belief, and the steering is godlike. The way that this car turns in, it doesn't make any sense. BMWs turn in really aggressively with lots of heft and meat up front. This doesn't. It's delicate. Since the engine's out back and there's not much weight up front, if there's no weight to move around. In fact, the whole car weighs 3,100 pounds. So when I turn in like that, there's not much weight to move. It doesn't make any sense. With all the weight out back, it should should understeer. It doesn't. It just slices into the corner. It's just so precise. It's just wild. What a wild thing. Oh, man. So how does that suspension change, or any of the tuning they've done, translate to livability? Pretty well. It's fine to live with. It's a bit loud on the highway. I mean, there's not much insulation in here. It's part of how they kept the weight down. But I'd say that the ride, while maybe a little bit choppy, is sports car choppy. I don't think that it's too choppy for the level of performance that you get out here. And when I say out here, I mean on a racetrack, because that's where you need to drive this car. If you own one of these, I know they're special, I know they might go up in value, but please drive it the way that it's meant to be driven. So the beauty of a BMW M car is that while fun on the road, it really does come alive on the track. But the difference is, not tracking your M car is kind of like going out to your favorite Italian restaurant and they were out of your favorite dish. Not tracking your GT3 is like not going out for dinner at all. You're missing out. And like all 911s, this car is all about grip. But you can play with these. You just gotta be going real fast. Like this. It's more difficult, but when you get it right, it's more satisfying. It takes some practice, but you can. Be precise with it. It's just controlling the mass of the rear. It's very fun, very fun. I can't get over the way that this car manages its mass turning into a corner. Honestly, I haven't felt cornering poise and mid-corner grip levels like this since I drove a Viper ACR around here. And we know that grip like that translates to high lap times, so can't wait to see what it does.
Okay, the lap times. As usual, our rules are 5 laps, 1 warm-up lap, 3 hot laps, and 1 cool-down lap, and that's all I've got to set the best time possible. So, the GT3. I was running this in the most aggressive setting with the traction and stability fully off. Again, I can't stress enough just how competent this car is on a track. The damping is superb, and the communication through to the driver is world-class. This should be a fast time. Let's watch.
This car is, it's something special.
It is.
It is really something special.
And not just because it's blue,
No.
which is normally enough for me.
It's really enough for you. No, it is a great blue. We'll talk about that in a second. But okay, so I don't think I've driven a car, James, where I feel like there's so much more to explore than I've had the time to explore. Like every like minor adjustment I made to the way that I drove it, it would give something different back to me and go, oh, you're gonna do that now. Oh, well, I can do this. And then it would do that.
Interesting, because on the face of it, it just seems like a one-dimensional 911 does 911 things.
It is absolutely beautifully dynamic, both like literally and in the way that it makes you, as it, like.
That's the thing, I'm curious because, you know, it's a bit of a wet track today. There's puddles.
It is, but luckily enough, it dried enough that the puddles were not on my line, really.
Okay.
So it didn't really affect my lap time.
So I'm curious because there's almost a lot of pressure on you here. This isn't
Yes.
on the Cup 2Rs.
No, this is just Cup 2s.
Which are the optional, even more intense tyres.
Yep.
So, but Cup 2s on our
I'm
leader.
so excited to tell you
Cup 2s on our leaderboard have done very well.
All right, where's I forgot my phone.
We recently had
Yeah.
the shock of the M2CS.
Yep, the M2CS blew our minds in terms of time.
Yeah.
Yep, and what's the fastest time on the leaderboard right now?
Is the mono still? No.
Right, and then what is the one right below that?
The Viper ACR.
The Viper. And what did the Viper do?
I remember. I'm trying to remember.
The
107
Viper did
something.
a 107.55.
Okay.
Okay, crazy fast. I will say that the Viper will be like a crazy faster car on a track that you can really lean on the aero. We could lean on it a little bit here.
Yeah.
But the Viper was fast just because of insane grip in the aero and just being a crazy good car.
Okay.
This car was the first car that I've driven this year where my lap time got a little bit quicker each lap as opposed to going the other way. Usually I can get right to the limit and then the tires start to fall off.
But this time.
Every time I explored something different about it, it gave me something else back. So the M2 did a 110.
Which is superb.
Crazy good, yeah. Dodge Viper did a 107.55, and the 992 GT3 did a 107.77.
Ooh, wow. That's phenomenal. On a pretty wet day.
Well, to be fair, as I said, I don't think that it actually slowed me down that much because once
Obviously
I really
not.
It was just like every time I was like, can I get on the power a little bit earlier? And I could.
And you could brake a little bit later.
And I could brake a little bit later, and then I was like, wait a second, I can turn in a little bit faster.
That's a phenomenal time.
It is a phenomenal time. I was so impressed with that. It felt quick, but like just the grip from both the front and the rear end is insane.
Well,
James.
that's what everything they've done for this car is to do with, the Nürburgring time speaks for itself.
It's crazy.
It's faster than the previous gen GT3 RS. So who knows what the incoming GT3 RS is going to be.
GT3 RS would be a weapon.
All right, so let's just talk about styling quickly.
Well, they nailed it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, because the nostrils have been a point of
although,
contention.
I say that though. All they have to do is make it just kind of look like a 911, give it some little aero bits, and everyone goes, ooh, ah, which is what they did.
I'm one of those people.
I know you are.
I love it.
But it's beautiful. Like, I can't deny that the hips, the shape, I don't even mind the undermount wing. Everyone complains about that. I think it's cool.
The swan neck?
Yeah.
I like it. It reminds me of the Continental GT3, the Bentley. Also looks amazing with it.
It is so strong. Holy.
And this is in its most aggressive track setting. The whole car is.
Yes, we do have to disclaim, absolutely, that Porsche gave this car to us set up for the track.
Set up, the most aggressive spoiler.
Most aggressive everything, and the alignment was set up in its most aggressive track alignment.
And it's wonderful.
Basically, they put all their cards on the table hoping that it would get a good lap time, and it did. Yeah. So perhaps if this was in a full street setting, it wouldn't be as quick as it was. I have to disclaim that.
And this is Shark Blue, which no one has seen before. I think we're the first review of, no, actually, everyone's done the Shark Blue.
Yeah, every single person.
Every single one.
Every single review so far.
Which is okay, because it's actually it's loud.
This is actually every single car. This is the car.
This is the car.
This is a Euro spec car.
It's a Euro spec. So
yes.
actually, you were driving past me on the hot laps.
Yeah.
And it's not as loud as what we'll finally get in Canada and North America.
Right, and I'm really disappointed we didn't get to hear what it sounds like. Well, because inside it sounds like amazing.
Yes,
obviously.
the intake noise is
It
crazy.
still has that blah.
But we have Shark Blue pinstripe on the wheels.
Yeah.
Shark Blue pinstripe in the lights.
Yeah.
If you get the Touring, so this because we're about to get the Touring, and the Touring is slightly different. And I think there's a bit of confusion about what the Touring gives you because last generation it used to mean manual only.
Flower.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a bit of tyre in this.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed this, yeah.
I don't mess around, James.
No, I know.
Flinging tyre all over the place.
Anyway, so on the Touring, this is body coloured.
Yeah.
And it's wingless. And that's about it. This is the first time the Touring's been available in PDK and manual. It used to be the manual only spec.
I like the PDK.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, one could argue that because this is derivative from the motorsport cars,
Vocabulary.
which have paddle shifters. This is more true to the GT3 class.
That's right.
As a PDK, but
they're gonna have like sequential transmissions and all that, but at least it's paddles.
But enthusiasts will probably prefer the manual, and the Touring is now available in both. But I found out on the Porsche Builder, when in Canada at least, when you go to build a regular GT3, it has the PDK pre-selected as the button, and then if you go to build a Touring, it has the manual pre-selected.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that's Porsche's way of being like, the Touring should be manual.
We should probably go to manual. Well, you still can. I don't know. I think this is great as it is. This is a sensational car. Can we look at the interior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh. It's not easy to get in.
You never get quite used to those.
I always scuff the door.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
In every car we've ever used.
I don't have very much hip flexion. Is that a word?
100%.
Yep.
Yep. Add it to the dictionary alongside derivative I did.
Yep. Okay. It's 992 in here.
Which is a great thing.
Yes.
I'm very much a GT3 follower and fan, and when I realized that this new GT3 would just get the new 992 interior with the 9,000 RPM flat, that recipe really excited me. And I think with this car, Porsche finally admitted that no one can see the outside gauges in this.
Why? What have they done differently?
They give you the option to have the track mode. Press the show.
I didn't even have that on. Oh wait, no, I did.
Yeah, if you go into track,
it's funny. I didn't know that I had it on because I didn't know that there was nothing here because you can't see that anyway.
Can't see it.
That has all the information though.
But beyond that, the weirdest thing in here compared to normal.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's good.
So we've got the carbon bucket seats. These are height adjustable, like in the GT4 we had.
Yep.
Which feels like a luxury.
These seats are great because you honestly need them. If you're going to casually drive a track car, you honestly need stiff seats like that. Because the G-forces this thing creates is crazy.
I can tell you, I drove here 2 hours on the highway.
Yeah. No problem, eh?
No problem.
If they're the exact same as the GT4, then I was fine as well driving. I found they were maybe a little bit upright, but like other than that, you can totally live with them, knowing that what they give you on the track.
Because they were based on the 918. They started including the 918 bucket seats.
Yeah.
Now they don't even call them that anymore.
Yes.
Just the bucket seats. We obviously don't have any rear seats.
No. Who needs them, really?
Well,
the GT3 is just honest about what the 911 is.
No, because the 911 historically is like the cool dad or mum car.
Yeah.
And
you can fit like a
you can fit a
6-month-old in the back, and that's it.
No, you can squeeze a 10-year-old.
just fold them up and put them in the back.
But that was a useful thing.
Yeah.
This is a strange looking thing.
Looks like a manual shifter.
It looks like a manual shifter.
Because everyone complained about the lady shaver. It does make you want to shift with it.
It does.
Yeah.
I think it's so that when people peer in through the window and go, ha, good, at least you got the manual.
You're like, yeah,
100%.
Sure did. Hey, do you want to go to look that way? Drive away.
Beyond that, it's normal 992 stuff. We've got shark blue stitching in here. It's fantastic.
Yep. No, I like everything about this interior minus the gauge cluster, and I find that the infotainment's maybe a little bit annoying to use.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a bit small, and
I just have CarPlay.
It's like touch screen, and it's annoying.
Touch screen's annoying?
I don't know. It's just I don't love.
Ladies and gentlemen, a 97-year-old. You wish you had an abacus there, don't you?
In my day, we had.
This is how many miles an hour.
Switches.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's not much more to talk about this. I think we should go right to a conclusion.
Before we do.
Yeah.
You stood up and boldly said in front of the M2CS, "This is the best sports car in the world right now." And the look on your face, the lap time you've got here. How can you possibly still say that?
Okay, I will reconcile that for you and the audience right now. The M2CS is significantly more fun to drive than this. This is a more serious experience, an experience that I like very much, right? But it is not as goofy as the M2CS. The M2CS does all the stuff and is a hooligan. This will do the hooliganism, but it's like 9. It wants you to grip, right? It wants that type of driving, but it is still sensational. Also, it's a misnomer anyway, because I called the M2CS a sports car, and ever since I did that, people are like, excuse me. Excuse me, Thomas. The M2CS is not a sports car. It is a sporty car.
But
this is a sports car.
This is made more serious by the Gabbeldefliefke Getriebe.
The Gabbeldefliefke Getriebe?
Yeah, that's German
for
terrible German accent.
Can Conclusion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, it may be on the serious side, but sometimes winners have to be. It might be more Max Verstappen than Daniel Ricciardo, more Niki Lauda than James Hunt, but even those clinical drivers crack a smile every now and then.
The new GT3 then is the same recipe as the last one, just better ingredients this time. It's worth noting that a Cayman GT4 will give you more than half of the experience, but for some, there is no substitute for a 911. And whilst the entire 911 lineup is supremely capable, despite its compromises, we can't shake the fact that the 911 is a dish best served GT3. Thanks for watching.